Hello, everyone. My name is Julianne Meyer, and I am the host of Own Your Wellness. Welcome. I'm excited to be here. It's good to be back on the West Coast. I was just in Boston for a wedding, and I miss the East Coast. I'm not gonna lie, but hey, it's heaven on earth here in California. So absolutely zero complaints. But I'm excited to be back because today's guest, Lila Veronica, is an amazing woman who I get to meet very soon in person. So I'm pretty pumped about it. But let's introduce her right now. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Grateful to be here. Thank you, Julianne. Thank you.
I am excited that you're here. I have been studying you a little bit online because I wanted to, of course, prepare for today. But I would love for you to share a little bit about yourself and your own wellness journey.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say thank you for having this show. Own Your Wellness is a really powerful statement, and it's really in alignment with all the work that I do. A lot of what I do is own your worth, own your value, which today's show is called Own Your Value. So my name's Lila Veronica, and I am a speaker and a coach and the creator of the Riverstone Movement School, which I'll share a little bit more about later. But a lot of what I do is I help particularly women create the connection between their body and wealth creation, their body and their value, their body and owning their worth. And so I have had a journey, which I can share more about if you like, but I'll share the big lesson, then I'll kind of back end into it, how I got here. But here's what I know. And it's the reason I'm going here so fast is because we all know this. Most people struggle in three areas: in their body, in their bank account, and in their bedroom. Something with their love life, right? And so I'm committed to helping people stop suffering. And I've been on a journey. I'll share more about that, but I've been on a journey my entire life, basically, to figure out, how can I help? I wake up every day. How can I help? And this is the most powerful work that I've been able to find over decades of trying to figure out how to help, is the link between the self, the body, and the outer world. And for women in particular, I find that a lot of them struggle with owning their worth, owning their value, and also with creatives, with really loving, heartfelt people. They often struggle with the receiving of wealth. It's not always the big-hearted people that are having an easy time creating wealth. It's the people that want to just help people and have a great life that struggle. And so I thought, how can I resolve this? And that's what I do today. And it's been quite a journey to get here.
No, I think that that's amazing because I 100% agree with your message and how you're helping people, particularly women. Because for me, especially since I'm in the health and wellness industry, the whole wealth thing, it's kind of like, yeah, it does come down to worth. It's like, do I think I'm worth it? Or it's weird. It's like, if I don't feel good about my body, it inhibits how much money I can make. It's kind of funny how everything's interconnected, but of course, I preach that all the time.
All that.
But I would love for you to share a little bit more about you, like you touched on, what you're doing and how you're helping, but there has to have been maybe like a moment or five that really made you feel like this is my purpose.
Yes, it is definitely a culmination, like I said earlier, of a number of years, a whole lifetime really of experience and wisdom and studies. And I'm an academic type. I'll share, I grew up as a type of girl that was, grew up poor, not good home. And I really valued my intellect. I found love and appreciation and joy through academic and athletic achievements, right? And so I was always willing to do more work, willing to join the next club, the higher level class. I went on for a bachelor's, a master's, a PhD. I spent time in consulting. I have a background in environmental work. environmental science, environmental policy, research. I was always trying to figure out the way to save the world. I have a bit of a save the world complex recovery kind of situation here. Recovering save the world person. There's a lot of us out there. And I'll share why I'm being so funny about it is because what I figured out was that it's not about us saving anything outside of us. That's actually quite strong ego. It's each individual caring for thyself, showing up, being the change you want to see in the world, right? Being the reflection. If we feel good, we tend to be pretty good to other things in the world, the people, the planet. It's only when we feel like crap that we treat others like crap or treat the planet like crap. And so it took me years of education to get to the point of realizing like, oh, if I don't actually love myself, if I don't take care of myself fully, how can I actually point fingers at some polluter that's putting pollution in the ocean or in the air when I'm, not fully caring for myself? Now, it's not just nourishment and food and diet and exercise. It's the mental, right?
Yes.
And it's the mental. I will tell you what, that's a big part of what I teach. So I got to the point where I was working on my PhD, doing my qualifying exam. And I felt a period where I was like hallucinating because I was like overworking so much. I was working on the computer for hours and hours and hours. And I was like seeing paisley on my pants when my pants weren't paisley. I was seeing my walls textured when they weren't textured. And I knew it wasn't right. And I remember thinking, I'm going to lose brain cells getting my PhD. I didn't really think too much of it. I went to bed, woke up, kept going. And about a year and a half later, I pretty much burned out my adrenals and was shot, laid out for a while. And what I've learned, I basically got into yoga, got into body movement, got into mindfulness, got into presence, got into breathing, meditation, all of these different modalities. And I learned that my most powerful energy comes from presence, not from thinking. And we've been trained societally in our education system. I had the more education, the better feeling. And I was laid out on the couch hallucinating. I was like, what that isn't smart. What kind of intelligence is that? That's not, I got to figure something out. Right?
Yeah.
So it was hard because I thought to myself, I'm a smart woman and I feel real bad right now. Right? And I gotta figure this out. So after I started taking care of my body, which really meant spending time with it. So I want to talk a little bit about this idea of value here now. What we value is not what we say we value. It's what we spend our time on. So I started spending time with my body, with myself, with my breath, with my heart, with my ribs, with my pinky toes, with my scalp, my eyebrows. If you ever go to these mindfulness classes, they have you doing all sorts of weird stuff, right?
Yep.
What is this crap? Right? But a smart woman over here sitting there trying to contemplate my belly button. I'm like, what in the world am I doing? And yet I started to feel happy instead of trying to be pushing through life. I never thought I was unhappy until I hit rock bottom. And then I realized this is not working and I had to figure something out. And the way that I did it was go inside first. And we hear this all the time. So I'm going to talk about how today a little bit. That's why I've created the school, is because I've spent years now coaching and speaking and mentoring, at this point, thousands of students and clients. And so I understand what high performance means in terms of the body and wealth creation. And one of it is you don't burn out like I did, right?
Yeah.
If you have sustainability and energy and no stress in your body, and you can move through space real fluid and stay open, you can not get sick, have lots of energy, sleep well, stay open to ideas, all of that. And you can also just feel a sense of happiness. A lot of my clients are actually extremely successful. Like people say to me, we used to say to me, oh, you're so successful, you have so much going on. And I was still a box of stress. I'm like, I don't know how successful I really felt at
Yeah.
that point. And so the body piece, the happiness, the joy, the pleasure, the brightness, everything is really about how we feel in the body. So you see a lot of successful people who aren't happy,
Mm-hmm.
right? You see a lot of successful who keel over with heart attacks, right? I was scared. I got to a point I was on really high blood pressure medication. I was about 35 pounds overweight and had really bad sciatic pain. So it was hard to walk, drive, sit, everything just sucked, hurt, sleep, everything. Right. And because I was just go, 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 think, 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 do, 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 do. There was no space to even be with me. I exercised and I would be listening to music and reading a like an academic journal paper at the same time.
I can relate.
Or they look like how smart is that? I don't know. It was just it was all in the head. That's it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So
that's funny.
have you ever been there in that
You
space?
know what I did? I got to tell you this really quick because I think you'll really appreciate this. Intelligence was the way that I, felt love and received love, or if I had to earn it, basically. And so, in order to prove how intelligent I was, I decided to go to school for biochemistry. So, I went to school for that and did that. And don't get me wrong, it was fascinating. But the one thing I did learn was I don't want to do that. I never wanted to do that. And how smart am I actually if I'm doing this for other people to prove how intelligent I am? Probably not so smart.
Yeah, just working, right?
Yeah.
Working in some sort of mental system, some sort of belief system that's not
Exactly.
necessarily. Yeah, so I love that you brought that up. I love that. I'll share. So the pleasure of my life often, so all along that time, right? Academic achievements, I was always into something very athletic. As a kid, I played baseball, t-ball. I twirled baton. I was a cheerleader for years. I did, volleyball, softball, like all of these fun athletics. And then I went on as I was older, I trained in aerobics and weightlifting and different movement modalities. And that's why I've created my own, because I've spent years, and I'll share who I serve too, because it really matters. Um, I feel like what I've created is what people need for the future. That's why I'm so passionate about it. But I spent all these years academic achievements, also always wired in. I danced for a couple semi-pro basketball teams, right?
Oh, fun.
And yeah, so I was always very body oriented, having fun. As a kid, always being told sit still and be quiet. And now I speak and move for a living. Boom. And I also always had this knack of creating wealth. I always loved to sell stuff. Like as a kid, I would sell blow pops and like do my friends' nails for prom and homecoming, right? And I would like just wash cars, wax cars, my
Me
people.
too. You same.
Love it. I've always loved the game. And as I got older, I was like, for years, I've always had some sort of like alternative or additional revenue stream. And now I have multiple revenue streams. And, I have all these things going on. And I've always loved the game. And what's neat is I've realized I can have it all. I can be an intelligent woman and create systems and do data collection and do research and come to conclusions like I do as a scientist. And I can do it in my own thing where I do movement and wealth creation. I can have it all. But what I had to do to really own my value is figure out, what do I really like to do? How do I step out of the system and try to save everybody else, the environmental work? And how do I step back and say, what brings me joy every day? If I wake up and I get to move and I get to help people make money, right? Because it's fun. I love the game. The money piece is really an empowerment piece. It's not about the money. It's about the fact that when somebody can earn now, they know how to earn forever. When you know how to earn anywhere, doing anything, anywhere, you feel like a free bird. And that is beyond any sort of institutional the man keeping me down kind of thing. No,
Mhm.
we got to empower ourselves to create. Nobody can keep you down when you can create.
Exactly. Nobody can
Exactly.
take that away.
No, and nobody can keep you down when you're healthy.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's why I'm like, this is women's empowerment, but I'm not trying to do it in a sense of fighting any system anymore. I'm done with that.
Mm.
I'm all about owning it, owning our value and showing up in that way and creating from there instead. It's very much more our power.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's way more empowering because it's not the fighting aspect in which you focus on expands. So why not focus on what you want to grow as opposed to what you don't want? I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you and
So,
I have some very similar things, and it's fascinating to me. I love the idea of, part of the thing that I like about what you do with body is it helps you get out of your head. It helps you reconnect to the present moment just by being present in your body. And it's amazing how much more can come to you when you free yourself up like that.
it's true. A couple things, the body it's we all know we're all too static, right? Like it's
Mhm.
pretty common knowledge that most people don't move enough.
Mhm.
That's why people have pedometers. Nobody used to have pedometers because everybody walked everywhere. Like nobody needed to count steps,
Exactly.
but people are like, I need to, because I know if I don't see it, calculate it, which is a great tool. I'm
Mhm.
just saying that the only reason is because we're not doing enough, things like that. All of it. And so movement, but not just any sort of movement, because it can't just be stiff movement, rigid movement.
Mhm.
There's a lot of movement. I want to speak this in the sense of there's a lot of movement, including yoga. I actually don't teach yoga. I teach a different kind of movement that's kind of from yoga, but also from dynamic postural training. It's
Ooh.
an integration of that, a system. It's beautiful. But rigid movement, a lot of yogas even have been created by men. Warrior is a static movement, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't necessarily believe that something that's static as an exercise from a positioning is great when we're already so static in our day-to-day life. So I'm all about dynamism, right? It's like we need to get up and move and pulse all of that glandular system, the hormones, the pituitary, the thyroid, all the things. All of that is a glandular, it's a pump system. So if we're not kind of pumping somewhat all day, not all day,
Mhm.
every day, but somewhat, you see little kids are kind of pumping and bouncing and stuff. It's natural. What happens is we get stiff, rigid. Somebody said, sit still, don't talk. We get soft in our movements, or we'll move, but barely.
Exactly.
And when people
To the
walk,
remote.
when people walk, the lower half of their back it barely moves. People wonder why there's back pain. There's no movement there. There's no reason. It just gets stuck. And so dynamic movement, dynamic movement, dynamic movement. Also, I'm a speaker. I've been a performer of some sort almost all my life. Right? I could go on and on. I don't have to tell stories, but I've done a lot of performances on all sorts of levels in terms of being in front of a whole bunch of people doing something and having to talk. I'm not scared of speaking, but what I know is that you cannot bore people.
Mhm.
And and so if you are boring and you want to be a speaker and you want to have something great to share, it's not going to work. It's just, I don't care if you could save the world. It's not going to work. Nobody's going to listen. And so
Exactly.
I teach people that are very smart, highly intellectual, like brilliant,
Mhm.
how to play a range, play a spectrum of energy, right? That's more
Mhm.
dynamic and it's in the body. It's what's going on in the body, right? Are you moving? Are you opening? Are you just staying small and in the head? Are you feeling the body? Are you talking from your belly? Feeling
Mhm.
your feet? Have a little spring in your step. All of that matters in terms of the way people receive the information.
Exactly. It's like you said, it's not enough just to have the message. You might have the most wonderful thing, but like you said, if nobody's going to listen to you, then you might as well be talking to yourself and just taking it. I know, especially intellectual people think that that's enough.
Yeah.
But I love that you teach people how to become and own their message. And, it's
Yeah.
shining their light, not just speaking.
It really is because, I'm one of those. I fought and tried so hard for so long to try to convince people of things. Everything from
Mhm.
the environment, saving words, to the political stuff, to health stuff. I've done it all. And what I know, it's like, it doesn't work. I have to
Mhm.
be it, right?
Yeah.
The shape. So I work with a lot of leaders too, and they're not comfortable in their body. And so maybe they're scared to even get in front of people because they don't like the way they look. So I'm not about like, I'm not a weight loss coach or something like that, but I can help people reshape their body, sculpt their body
Mhm.
into a more hourglass shape, harmony shape because of the posture training,
Mm.
the dynamic movement training. Your body will take its more youthful shape like a kid versus the getting old shape, the C, into kind of that C bent over C curve.
Yes.
Up and so the body, what I love about what I teach is like I go into it to teach intellectual people how to be in their body, how to be dynamic, how to really own their value. But what
Mhm.
happens is they get a youthful shape, a lifted behind, a narrow waist, an open heart. They get bouncy and more energy. The number one thing that I hear when I speak, when I coach, when I, are mentoring or doing sales or anything, it's like, I love your energy.
Mhm.
I teach a lot of strategy. I will tell you, I have thousands of hours at this point of videos I've created. I have hundreds of hours of content of strategies in my back end. Nobody tells me they love my strategy. It works. They use it. They get results. But they say, I love your energy. I ask
Mhm.
as research, and they always say the exact same thing. It's the energy, which means it's something inside of me. And it's my
Mhm.
responsibility to mind my own energy, to take care of my own energy. So my highest value, so that I can serve the world, so
Mhm.
that I can feel good, is to feel good. You know,
Exactly.
yeah.
No, it's true though, because I used to be a bartender in New York City. And I could have 10 people waiting in line to see me. And it was all about, and my dad said this to me, and it stuck with me because he said, people will wait in line to have you serve them if they like you. And they did. They would wait in line for me to serve them, even if somebody else was open, just because they liked my energy. And that's what people, are coming for. I mean, granted, I still gave them the drink and that's what they wanted, but they
Yep.
were waiting. It was all about the energy. And I think that a lot of people miss that aspect because of what they are presenting to the world is so fabulous that they forget people are connecting to them. I
It's so
love that.
true.
Yeah.
It's everything. So that's why. So I'll tell you a little bit more about my journey. So what I did is I ended up, what my younger brother says. He goes, "Oh, she had her eat, pray, love journey." Right? Like I went through a divorce and I went on to got into yoga teacher trainings, and I did 3 yoga teacher trainings in like a
Wow.
year. And I moved, I left academia. I moved across the country to Denver, Colorado. I always say with my Subaru, 2 dogs, and a hula hoop, I'm going to start my new life. So then I get into the yoga-ish world. It's this mindful movement that I teach and stuff. I've created a whole simplified system around it for more regular folks, not like
Mhm.
super duper yogi types, but people who want to do it in a short timeline,
Oh, I like that.
busy, and they want to also walk, talk, sit different. It's a
Mhm.
posture training, super short movements. Also, so that a lot of my people are just busy. That's just the truth. They don't have
Mhm.
much time. So I've boiled it down to super simple systems because that's what I do. But what I found was when I first got into the whole yoga world, there's a lot of talk about prosperity, abundance, collaboration, community, all of this kind of stuff. What I found was competition, lack mindset, and fear around survival, around money, a lot of money problems in the, and it's not any different than the environmental world that I came from. And I was actually part of it. And I started to, I started my business in 2014, sort of teaching this mindful movement. And I recognized pretty quick how hard it was to stay afloat and to support myself in this industry. So I started going to business events, and then I started learning about money mindset. And I thought, I got a money mindset issue. So I did all that work. And then I started to try to bring some of that into the yoga world and teach people some business stuff. And some people were open. Most did not like it. It was very much of like a clash of culture in terms of bringing in the talk of money into the yoga world.
That's so
it has changed since then. It has changed. There's a much more opening of abundance and prosperity and all of that stuff since like the Instagram, TikTok, all of these more like, where you can see these yogis out and about and doing things and, everything like Facebook, YouTube, there's more of them out there and they're seeing like richness around yoga stuff and they're putting these connections together, prosperity and abundance and manifestation and all that stuff as people are talking about more. For me, I was just coming from a logic standpoint of like, this doesn't make sense to me. Like if something doesn't make sense, I'm like, and if something makes sense, I'm all in. Right. So I was kind of like, I started seeing that in the business world at the same time, a lot of people in health and wellness and healing and coaching and all of that, very unhealthy.
Yes.
Overwhelmed, stressed out, overweight, not eating well, not sleeping well. The mind is wonked. And I was like, what? How am I ain't going to hire you. I ain't going to hire any of you. Because I'm not hiring anybody who's wonked in the head because they're not healthy. So healthy body, healthy business, healthy body, healthy mind, healthy body, right? It all goes together. But the inside self is really what projects the outside context in terms of what we create comes from us. And so it made me start to realize that there's a lot of struggle just generally in the business world, the entrepreneurial world, in the world with the body. And so I started instead of trying to bring in the wealth piece at first into the mindful movement world, I started bringing the movement, the body, the awareness, the presence, the reduction of stress or the release of it all into the business world. And so what happened was all my clients made more money.
Exactly.
Had more time and attracted higher end clients, I would say clients who are more grateful, clients and employees who are more grateful. Opportunities that were like, the really aligned opportunities, aligned things are really just people who are grateful for you. You're like, yeah, perfect. It's perfect fit, So when we value ourselves, others value us.
Exactly.
We cannot expect others to value us. If we're not making the wealth that we want, we got to check in. What's going on here? Can we take care of ourselves a little bit more? Value ourselves in some area. It could be the nutrition, right? It could be the movement. We need more movement. It could be we need to surround ourselves with the right kinds of people or create boundaries or create openings even with people, depending on our situation. Everything's different, right? But when we really own our value, we don't sacrifice ourselves in a negative way that would affect everything. Sometimes sacrifice you got to do, right? You're going to sacrifice some fun for some results, but not too much. Then everything around us starts to value us more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a saying that I loved. Is something along the lines of, if you don't value yourself, how do you expect other people to value you? And I just thought, yeah, exactly. I'm teaching other people how to treat me. So by being how I am. I love that.
Yeah.
We do need to go to a commercial break, so we'll be back in just a moment. All right. For those of you who are watching us live, thank you for joining us. And as I mentioned, it is commercial time. So we'll be right back after these messages. Are you someone who is struggling to move forward because you suffered a loss? Maybe you're even finding it difficult to complete the most basic tasks. Are you looking for a way to start enjoying life again without feeling guilty or the resistance to do so? Spiritual life coach Sarah Stockham saw a need for people who haven't learned how to grieve without putting their entire lives on pause. And so she created a program that solves this issue called Choosing Life Right Now. This program is simple and you can do it on your own. If you are ready to learn how to feel your grief while still being able to smile, to honor the sacredness of what took place as a loss, and yet still continue to live with joy, and if you'd like to take care of your whole being with grace and love, then I'd like to invite you to experience her new program called Choosing Life Right Now. Sarah is currently offering her program for the promotional price of $77, but it won't stay at this price for long. To learn more, check out her website. The address is on the screen.
When drug or alcohol addiction take over, things begin to disappear. Your friends, your family, and eventually, you. Recommended by Dr. Phil, New Method Wellness can help get your life back with individualized treatment plans for dual diagnosis clients. New Method Wellness provides the most highly credentialed treatment in a safe and welcome environment. Call New Method Wellness for your free consultation and ask about our national accreditations. Together, we can put the pieces back together.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Julianne Meyer, and I'm the host of Own Your Wellness. And today's special guest is Lila Veronica. Let's bring her back. Hello, hello. So I would love for you have a program. We've sort of touched on it a little bit. I would like for you to talk about that now, if you wouldn't mind, because I think now's the time.
Yeah. So like I said earlier, I have created the Riverstone Movement School. And it's twofold. One, it teaches movement, which I'll talk about. And then the other, I teach teachers how to create wealth virtually anywhere in the world, teaching movement. So I teach teachers and I teach students. So what this is, like I said, a culmination of about 25 years of my life of doing movement, creating wealth, and really creating systematizing. And it's a series of 7 movement series or sequences that are about 7 minutes each. You can do one by itself or string them together, 14 minutes, 21 minutes, and so on. You can do it all together. What it is you start with one and you build and track your progress. and then you gain, number 1, resiliency, number 2, strength, flexibility, number 3, and also what's neat about it is you gain full body awareness, which really, and from my perspective, it totally elevates your consciousness. When you are in all of your body at once, the thinking mind doesn't need to work so hard. You have more energy, and you have and you have this higher level of sensitivity to information, here and beyond.
Exactly. You're not just stuck in the day-to-day doings and all that. It's just, and like the thoughts of, we make up stories behind absolutely everything that we do. So that takes up a lot of energy. I love this.
Absolutely does. And so what's neat about this is, I'll give you an example. So I teach dynamic posture. So I teach people a postural alignment. So I have a program. What this includes, it's 8 weeks, basically. It takes 8 weeks to realign the body. And then I teach 7 movement practices so that you learn about your heart, you learn about your hips, you learn about your legs, and so on. And then you get to use each one, and the more you do it, the better you get, the more strength, flexibility, resiliency, and awareness you get.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So what I've found is that a lot of practices have jargon. And so this practice is for the busy person. So I'll give you an example why I created this. One of my clients is a very high level female forensic investigator on the East Coast. Very busy. She's a mother, she's a wife, she has a high level career. She has all sorts of family, friends, community stuff going on. She doesn't have a lot of time. So I created a short series for her that she could do in the bathroom in the morning before her children got to her. Right? Before the day got to her, because her kids get to her, she's ready. Help them. So within 3 weeks, she dropped 2 dress sizes, not lost weight, but reshaped her body, sculpted her body into a more harmonic shape, hourglass shape, and dropped 2 dress sizes, right? And her friends are like, "What are you doing? Are you lost weight?" She's like, "I haven't really lost weight." She's like, "But I'm reshaping my body and sitting different, standing different." She holds her computer different. Like everything she does in terms of her day-to-day activities is different. So she's just brighter and happier and more joyful and looks better. And so I thought, okay, now how can and she's one of hundreds that I can see in such a short period, it works. And so the lifestyle practice, that's what I care about more. I don't care about what you do on the mat, although I have created a custom mat that's just like this. It's wider and longer than a regular mat for some more room, and for taller people too, if you're tall.
Nice.
But yeah, that's what I get a lot. It's like tall people are like, "We can't do mats." I can't stand a yoga mat because I'm big. I move too big. So I've created this mat. So you have this mat. As what's neat about this is that it's a 3D tool on a 2D screen. So students and teachers can learn and teach easier with the mat that I've created.
Nice.
What I teach is curves, moving in curves and spirals, and not necessarily straight lines, linear rigidity. When people start doing that, the quote flow, right? People want to be less rigid and stiff and tight and tense, right? So we got to move that way. And I've created practices, super short practices. It takes you 8 weeks to learn, right? And it will impact you everywhere in your life. The way you show up in your body is the way people receive you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something that I don't know why I feel compelled to say this, but it reminds me of something another guest said one time. He happened to be a weight loss coach, and he said, "Yeah, that's what I am, but I never guarantee weight loss. I always say that weight loss is a side effect because really, what you're getting out of it is so much more." And I hear the same sort of thing, like movement, how it can even increase your sense of value, your bank account, all these things. And it all just starts from doing one thing. You don't have to overhaul everything.
No, that's a good point. So I mentioned earlier, I was, since I learned this, basically I've been able to, for 8 years, maintain, keep that 35 pounds off, maintain my weight easily
Yeah.
for 8 years. No sciatic pain. I was off that blood pressure medicine pretty quick. I know, and I teach how to not release stress chemicals in the body, not stress management, but not release it at all into the body. I teach that stuff. So all of that stuff, what it's done is that it's teaching my clients, and I have learned it this way, step by step, teaching them one piece of the body at a time. Master that. It's the physical component of mind and life mastery.
Yes.
Does that make sense? The physical component of mastering our mind and life. And so a lot of people are trying to do mindset work. And I love mindset work. It's powerful, but it's still trying to fix the problem from where the problem starts.
Yeah.
And so I know that in addition to psychology influencing biology,
Yep.
right, influences psychology. So when we open our arms, we know this because Amy Cuddy, one of the second most watched TED Talk out there, is a woman who talks about standing with your hands on your hips for 2 minutes.
Exactly. The Wonder Woman pose.
The Wonder Woman pose. Well, what I've done, and I love her, she's created a strong foundation for people to understand what I do. I've taken it a step further and taken it into movement. Instead of static posture, stiff and strong, I've taken it into fluid movement. And that's what the Riverstone Movement School is all about, is becoming the river. Right? The stone that lets the river wash over you. That's the kind of movement that we want.
I love that. I love water too. It's such a good, well, first of all, we're made of mostly water, but also it's such a good metaphor for life in general. Like, are you trying to go upstream, or are you going with the flow? There's just so many ways to look at it. And I like the idea of just that movement, like you said, it works both ways with biology. And it's kind of like, if I'm in a bad mood, I'll clean something up and I feel, cleaner and lighter. And yeah, I could sit there and do affirmations and things like that, and that would work too. But sometimes it's easier to go the other way.
Absolutely. I years ago, I was struggling with something, and somebody said to me, real nice person, was helping me out, said, "Do you know anybody that needs help?" I said, "Yeah, I know quite a few people, actually." I said, "Can you call them and help them?" I said, "Yeah, they'd actually really like that." And so I took action, got out of my own mind, right? And I was fine. I don't even know what my problem was. I couldn't tell you to this day what my problem was. It doesn't, it's that big of a problem. I can't even remember it. And so that action piece, I don't tell people to take like strong action when you're super stressed out, because your action may be a little out of alignment. But if you're pretty cool, and you're not too crazy in the head, right? Take a little action. Now, if you are still too crazy in the head, you still might need to move.
Yeah.
You might need to sit still and stuff, but you might need to move, just not bring it to other people, maybe not bring it to other people.
I think that's a really good point too, because a lot of people too, let's just take working out at the gym, for example. There are certain times where, their body is telling them, I don't think I can do this today. And so it's like an all or nothing all of a sudden in their mind, where instead they could maybe just go out for a walk or, some yoga or something a little less dramatic and stressful on the body. So I like the idea of, paying attention. There's a difference between copping out and but you do need to listen.
Well, we want to push ourselves to the point where it doesn't tax our system too much. So that's what I really teach. So I found a lot, and I'll tell you this, especially in the last 2 years, but even before that, especially in the last 2 years, is people, number one, they don't want to go to a gym because they're not comfortable being around people for a variety of reasons. Number two, a lot of people's gyms, studios, workout places closed. They're not even there anymore. And number three, people have started to really enjoy being home and doing the workouts. So what I know though is that people being home, because I've surveyed my audience as like I said, former academic, right? I survey people all the time, collect that data. Consistency is the number one challenge people are having right now. So that is, and we all know that everybody's distracted and attention span is low. So that is why I've created these really simple, short 7-minute series. You can do 7 minutes. You can do 2 of them. You can do 14 minutes, up to 7 of them, 49 minutes. You don't need any more than 49 minutes right now from me. And if you do, you need to get your butt out to Colorado and I'll get my hands on you. We'll take you next level. But until then, you'll be good with the 49 minutes. Because if you can stay with this movement, if you can stay with your body fully and not think for 49 minutes, I promise you your life will change. I promise. 100% guaranteed.
Do you see, or do you notice that people struggle with that in the beginning, or is it?
Oh yeah, they can't even come to a video with their camera on straight and their head on straight. It'll take me 12 minutes just to get the camera set up, and I'm like, whatever, this is your class, you're paying for it right now, and if it's a group, they're just losing out on movement and breathing or whatever. But that's just in the beginning. That's mostly how people are. They're super frazzled. Now, if they do come and they're calm and they're chill, then I get them moving. If they stay with me 7 minutes straight, I consider them a powerhouse. 7
Well, I like that.
Without losing it, trying to ask a question, talk, looking away. The ego mind is so powerful and desires to think. That's all. That it just takes a little time, practice, and experience, really, to get into the body quickly.
I always think of it as kind of like 2 things. 1, a little child that needs to go to bed, or 2, a drunk friend. It's like once you get them to bed or like calm down, get them their water, all this stuff, then they'll quiet down and it'll be okay. But you got to get past all that stuff first.
It's true. Put on the favorite song. Let them tell the story 12 times. Exactly. Same thing in our own heads. Going on. So exactly. And so I really know. I'll give you a story too. I work with a lot of couples. I've worked with a lot more couples in the last, say, 3 or 4 years. And what's neat is that when they can get out of their head, so a lot of couples who are in business together and also teams. Not just like relationship. I don't do relationship coaching. Gotcha. I mean, I do because I work with people in business that are in relationship, but it's more about helping them align with one another and being their best, highest energy in themselves so that they can come together. And that's what this does. It's like when they can get out of their head and really get into their body, get moving, get rid of that stress stuff. That is when they come together and create exponentially. And so it's not the strategy ever. It's the feeling state. And I'm going to share this, especially, a lot of people are talking about manifestation and law of attraction and all of this. And the one thing people are missing is the feeling state. And women, our power is in our feeling state. We attract. It's like a tuning fork.
Yeah.
We attract and we repulse based upon the way we vibrate. It's nothing else. It's just the way we are feeling. So whatever we want, what we need to do is we need to feel it. What does it feel like when we have it? Don't try to figure anything out anymore. Stop it. Stop it. I love you. Stop it. Figuring out is easy when you feel it.
Well, also, it's kind of amazing, and I know you know all about this, but it's like as soon as you let go of trying to figure it out, all of a sudden things start to fall into place. You get these brilliant ideas. It's like you stop, you surrender. I hate that word, but it's such a good word because it's like, okay, as soon as I stop. It's like you can't remember somebody's name, and then all of a sudden you sit up in bed in the middle of the night. I'm like, Laura, that was her name. It's the
Yep.
same idea when you just sort of let go and let yourself be instead of do. I love that.
Yeah. And I always tell my clients and all my friends and colleagues, it's like, it's the smart ones that try to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's because we know we have the capacity if we just work hard enough.
Yeah.
But it's exhausting. So
Oh,
that's why letting go and surrender is so powerful. We have more energy. Yeah.
and it's a little scary because when you're so used to making your own way and making it happen, it's like, I should be doing something. Let me force this. This round thing should go in this square spot.
Yep. I love that, what you said that. So if you're in that spot, anybody, the round or the square peg in the round hole
Yeah.
kind of spot, that's when you know you need the body piece.
Mm-hmm.
You can't head your way there anymore. It's not going to work. If it's not working, maybe it's working, but if it's not working and you're heading your way there, I'm just going to tell you it's the body piece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're actually almost out of time. I want to make sure that people can get a hold of you and sign up for your program. I'm assuming we can do this through your website.
Bodywithlila.com. Go there. You'll get a free training, and then we can follow up and see if you want to work more with me and my group stuff. I got all sorts of stuff going on, but this right here it will show you the key parts of your body, and you'll know if you're open or closed, or you're dynamic or static. I give it to you free because I want you to be able to embody it now if you learn well from video.
I like that because, it's kind of like Michael Jordan still had a coach, even you can have all the tools, but you still need a coach. So
I have coaches. I have coaches. Yep. I've had coaches since I have actually had teachers and coaches my entire life. I've never been in a time, maybe like 3 years or something here and there if you add it all up, but I've always had mentors and coaches. Yep.
And, I think that that's such an important thing, especially for those people who are out there wondering who they should work with. Personally, I will not work with somebody who does not have a coach of some sort or some sort of mentor or somebody that they're learning from, because if you're not growing, you're dying. And also, I don't know. There's always more to learn and grow. So I like that idea, though, of always having that coach, that somebody that can teach you and help you and guide you, because it's how we grow.
Keeps me humble too.
Exactly. Well, we only have about 1 minute left, but is there anything else that you would love to share really quickly with the audience?
Yeah. I have one of my best friends, accountability partners, and, speaker type like me. She says one thing, and I'd like to pass this on, is that you deserve a beautiful life.
That is so well said. Yes, we all do, right?
We all do. You deserve to feel good. You deserve to have wealth. Your dreams are inside of you, not me, not anybody else. So you deserve them. You deserve your own kind of beautiful life, and whatever that is, you deserve it.
That's beautiful. On that note, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. It has been an absolute pleasure to pick your brain and hear your stories. So thank you for being here today.
Appreciate it. Thank you, honey.
We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Well, everyone, as I mentioned, it's time to go. So I just want to say thank you for being here today, and we will see you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your week.